At the banquet, I was about to choose my carefree childhood friend for marriage, when suddenly, bullet comments flashed before my eyes. The supporting female character is still happily oblivious, but the male lead is about to fake a car accident and lose his memory, then abandon you. The male lead can't escape the arranged marriage, so he pretends to lose his memory to elope with the female lead, me, pretending to have amnesia. Are you? Then let's make it real amnesia. At a banquet filled with distinguished guests, I had just approached Frank, when a barrage of bullet comments suddenly flooded my vision. I stopped in my tracks and looked around. The others were still chatting and laughing, completely unaware of anything unusual. It seemed that only I could see the strange subtitles before my eyes. Realizing this, I furrowed my brows and looked at Frank in the distance. He was laughing and chatting with his best friend. I really found it hard to believe that he would fake amnesia from a car accident just to avoid an arranged marriage. Just as I reached him, I wanted to speak. The moment he saw me, the smile on his face vanished instantly, followed by a cold sneer. Julia, I really don't understand why my mother insists on forcing me to marry you. Low IQ, average height, and looks that are just so. If I were to marry you, the century-old genes of my Thomas family would be tarnished. So I suggest you be sensible and withdraw from the engagement voluntarily. I don't want our childhood friendship to end so unpleasantly after all these years. As he finished speaking, disgust flashed in his eyes. He took a step back in clear aversion, maintaining his distance from me. I paused. I don't quite understand why Frank suddenly dislikes me so much. He's been so good to me for over a decade. Good enough to give me anything I wanted. Suddenly, the barrage of comments flashed before my eyes again. Stop daydreaming. Female supporting character. The male lead only sees you as a sister. Now that the real female lead has appeared, the male lead must keep his distance from all women, and that naturally includes you. LOL. Just thinking about how the female supporting character's clothes are all the trashy leftovers the female lead didn't want cracks me up. My expression darkened as I looked down at the bright yellow evening gown I was wearing. It was a few days ago. Frank was personally delivered to the Smith family by his mother. Frank's mother kept holding my hand and said, Julia, this dress was personally chosen by Frank. He said this color suits you best. Be sure to wear this when you come to the family banquet in a couple of days. Our two families have some happy news to announce. That day, I was so excited I couldn't sleep all night. Because I knew what the happy news was. I've known it all along. I've liked Frank since I was 13, and everyone in our circle, including my brother, knows it, so it was already planned to announce the marriage alliance between the Smith and Thomas families on my 20th birthday. Seeing that I remained silent, he spoke again with disgust. Julia, what exactly do you like about me? I'll change, okay? Can you please stop pestering me? His voice involuntarily rose, drawing the attention of everyone in the room to me. My face instantly flushed crimson, but what overwhelmed me more was the chilling heartache. There was a time when I truly believed Frank liked me too, so when my brother asked if I was willing to marry him, I nodded without hesitation. But now, his eyes are filled with nothing but disgust, as if he couldn't wait to sever all ties with me. Even the clothes on my body were just discarded trash that others didn't want. Thinking about how I couldn't sleep that night, holding this dress with joy, I couldn't help but laugh at myself mockingly. Frank's mom happened to hear this as she approached and, instantly furious, slapped her son on the back. Are you making Julia angry again? Can't you say anything decent? Stop talking nonsense here. Our family is blessed to have Julia marry into it, and it's your good fortune that she even looks your way. With that, she subtly warned. Let me warn you, this marriage alliance is crucial for the Thomas family. If anything goes wrong, I'll make sure the woman you're keeping in that apartment is sent abroad for good. Believe me, you'll never see her again. The threat worked. Frank became much more restrained. I was completely stunned. Since when had he ever truly listened to the family's words? Neither the Thomas family nor I could ever control him. But now, just because of a mere threat, his temper has subsided. I couldn't help but laugh out loud. My brother came over and exchanged a nod with Frank's mother, as if signaling that the banquet time was almost up. The two were about to step onto the stage when I suddenly grabbed my brother's suit. My brother stopped and turned to look at me, as all eyes in the room focused on me, including Frank's displeased gaze. I bit my lower lip, hesitating slightly. The Thomas and Smith families have known each other for generations. Breaking the contract now would inevitably strain their relationship. Frank's mother turned to look at me hesitating, wondering if I was upset by what Frank had just said. She immediately took my hand and placed the pre-prepared jade peace lock in my palm. "Julia, don't worry, you're the daughter-in-law I've chosen. No one could compare to you, no matter what stray cats or dogs are out there. You'll always be Mrs. Frank." The safety lock was placed in my palm. It was what Frank picked during his 100-day-old baby's grab ceremony. Frank looked displeased and said coldly, "Mom, Mia is no stray cat or dog." I snapped back to reality and immediately handed the peace lock back to Frank's mother, then took a step back and said, "Aunt Thomas, I want to apologize first. I misunderstood my feelings for brother Frank. I only see him as a brother, and there are no romantic feelings between us, so please keep this peace lock for the true lady of the Thomas family in the future. The mistress of the Thomas family will not be me. I do love Frank, but I love myself more, so no matter whether these bullet comments are true or not, and regardless of whether Frank will fake amnesia from a car accident, but now he can openly show his disgust for me in front of everyone, even after marriage, my life won't be any better. Besides, Frank's mother clearly knew her son was keeping someone outside. Yet she still acted as if nothing happened and arranged a marriage alliance with the Smith family. The terrifying implications behind this don't even need to be spelled out. Frank's mother was stunned upon hearing this and immediately pushed her son forward. "It must be your words that upset Julia just now. Hurry up and apologize to her." Frank stood there in shock, as if he hadn't expected me to say such a thing. Frank's mother urged him anxiously. He finally grew impatient and was about to speak. I stood firm and refused first. "Frank, no, I won't marry you. If I marry you, I'll regret it. I'll definitely regret it." As I spoke, my voice unconsciously choked with sobs, and tears fell from the corners of my eyes. Although my brother didn't understand what had just happened, he quickly pulled me behind him. He frowned and said, "Aunt Thomas, I think we should postpone the announcement of the engagement news for today. Today also happens to be the 100th anniversary of the Thomas Family Company's founding. This good news is enough." With those words, my brother took my hand. My eyes reddened as I watched him resolutely prepare to lead me away, nearly bursting into tears at that moment. When I was little, my brother was always like this. No matter what happens, as long as I want to leave, he will take me away. Aunt Thomas panicked instantly, signaling to her son with her eyes. Frank's face turned cold. His mind filled with Julia's almost shouted words, "Don't marry him. You'll definitely regret it if you do. Is he really that terrible of a person? Will marrying him really lead to certain regret?" My brother coldly insisted on taking me away. I suddenly stopped in my tracks. Frank's mother looked delighted, while Frank froze, an unexpected flicker of joy rising in his heart. My brother turned back and asked me, "Do you still want to go through with this engagement, Julia? If you do, I won't take you away. If not, I'll take you home right now." I turned to glance at Frank, a smirk playing on his lips, as if certain I wouldn't leave. I nodded at my brother. "Brother, I will leave, but there are some things I must leave behind now." I turned and went upstairs. All eyes were on me, and everyone exchanged glances, not daring to say another word. Upon entering the bedroom, I quickly took off my evening gown and changed into more practical clothes, swapping my high heels for a pair of flats. After changing, I placed both the dress and the high heels in a box to take downstairs. The crowd was puzzled. Why did she change clothes after going upstairs? Frank's expression changed. Looking at the onlookers around us, I hesitated before calling out to him, "Frank, come outside with me for a moment." I headed toward the small courtyard. Frank's mother, worried that something might happen, urged him, "Frank, go over and apologize properly to Julia. Julia is a well-behaved child. Say a few nice words to cheer her up." The small courtyard was once my favorite place in the Thomas family, and also the place where I shared the most memories with Frank. He made a good point. My grades were poor, and the teacher assigned me more homework than others almost every day, under the guise of strengthening my foundational knowledge. So I would pester him to stay with me while I did my homework all night long, asking him about things I didn't understand and even those I did. Because I liked him, I wanted to involve him in almost everything I did, so much so that I forgot that affection requires mutual feelings. Late at night, all is quiet. Hearing footsteps behind me, I turned around and met his cold gaze. He was the first to sneer. What kind of trick are you playing now, Julia? Do you think I'll still indulge you? That playing hard to get will catch my attention. Such tactics only make you seem cheap. I was just about to speak, when a barrage of comments suddenly flashed by. Ha 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 ha, the male lead's mouth is so vicious. His favoritism is definitely reserved only for the female lead. The supporting female character's status in the male lead's heart is now even lower than the female lead's pet dog. What's with this act of playing hard to get? You're not the female lead. So yeah, you totally deserve being mocked by the male lead now. I froze. Playing hard to get. I've indeed used such tactics before, but back then he never showed the slightest annoyance towards me. I don't know where these bullet comments suddenly came from, but I suddenly felt like laughing. Just because I'm a supporting female character, does that mean I deserve to go through all this? But clearly, it was Frank who agreed to the arranged marriage first, so why does the blame ultimately fall on me? Is it just because he's the male lead? Seeing my smirk, he instantly got annoyed. Don't think your pretty smile can catch my attention. Keep dreaming, Frank. Do you like me? I suddenly interrupted. He froze instantly, then erupted in anger upon realizing. Julia, don't flatter yourself. I'll never like you in this lifetime. I let out an oh, and looked at him with amusement. Then why are you so narcissistic to think my laughter is meant to attract your attention? Frank, let me say it again. I don't like you. I just see you as a brother, so I won't marry you. And it's impossible for me to marry you. I handed the box over. He frowned but still took it, just about to open it, when I suddenly spoke. The clothes and shoes inside are the ones I changed out of. I forgot about them. Ill-fitting clothes will never look good no matter how you wear them. Keep them or throw them away. It's up to you, though the dress is useless to keep now. But it's still your choice. Because the dress was what the female lead had left behind, and the size didn't fit me. I thought he had personally picked it out, so even though it didn't fit, I still chose to wear it. The high heels were a gift from him on my coming-of-age day. This time, I'll return them along with everything else, just like severing these feelings that should never have existed. With those words, I quickly walked away. Because it wasn't an ill-fitting evening gown, I walked swiftly, as if to prove the truth of my earlier words. Frank came to a complete stop. He snapped back to reality and opened the box. Inside, the gown had been shredded to pieces, riddled with holes large and small. His face darkened, an inexplicable anger spreading through his heart. Once I got back home, I quickly went back to my room. Lying in bed, I finally had time to recall what happened at the banquet. These bullet comments followed me all the way home. They kept asking what had happened. I didn't believe these bullet comments at first, but Frank's attitude and Aunt Thomas's deliberate concealment of the matter. I don't dare to gamble. I don't dare gamble with my own future. The group chat kept dinging non-stop. Everyone was inquiring about the details of the banquet. Someone didn't mind stirring the pot and directly at me. Miss, what's going on with you? Don't tell me you've already fallen for someone else in just 1 week. Someone spoke up, one after another. The questions were thrown at me, as if she had completely forgotten that Frank was also in this group chat. I bit my lower lip tightly. These people in the group are all brothers and sisters I've grown up with. How should I put it? I went to say I saw strange subtitles. The subtitles told me that Frank can't escape the arranged marriage, will fake amnesia to elope with the female lead, and then abandon me. Such absurd things. Who would believe this nowadays? Besides, Frank is also in the group chat. After much hesitation, I still clicked reply to the first mention. I misunderstood my feelings for Frank. He's just my brother. Didn't you all say I'm his sister? How can a brother and sister get engaged? It's okay. Stopping the loss in time means we can still be friends in the future. Clicking send, I nodded in satisfaction at my wording. This cleanly severs my relationship with Frank without affecting my ties to the Thomas family. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone, but the moment I sent the message, the next second the interface showed that I had been kicked out of the group. I froze for a few seconds. This group was created by Frank, and only he had the power to kick people out. I sighed with a wry smile. Oh well, the relationship will fade away eventually anyway. A knock sounded at the door, and my brother pushed it open to enter. Brother, have you finished attending the banquet? When I left just now, I saw my brother being pestered by his friends. I didn't feel comfortable staying any longer, so I sent a message and left first. My brother just responded with an mm. After all, what happened tonight was rather unclear and confusing. Seeing my brother hesitate, I took the initiative to speak first. Brother, I lied to you. I do have romantic feelings for Frank, but I don't think marrying him is appropriate. My brother froze, seemingly not expecting me to speak up first. In the past, whenever Frank was mentioned and my brother asked about it, I would always shyly avoid the topic. After a moment of silence, he finally spoke. Julia, why do you think it's inappropriate? With your brother here, the Thomas family wouldn't dare to bully you. Perhaps in the past, he didn't have this ability, but now, he was capable of protecting his younger sister. I shook my head. Love is love, marriage is marriage. I can tell the difference. Besides, Frank doesn't like me. Forcing a relationship wouldn't mean anything. After talking for a long time, as I was leaving the bedroom, my brother couldn't help but sigh in self-reproach. It's my fault. If only I hadn't sent you to the Thomas family back then. If you had grown up in your own home, perhaps you wouldn't have fallen for Frank. Julia, happy 20th birthday from your brother. I froze for a moment, and by the time I came to my senses, my brother had already left. Back then, our parents passed away early. The uncles in the company fought over the family assets. My 17-year-old brother took over the company, working day and night without leaving no time to care for me. Yet, I had always been frail, and one late night, I suddenly developed a high fever, almost didn't make it. That was the first time my brother was at a loss in panic. Uncle Fu and my dad were childhood best friends, and he volunteered to take me in as his foster child. So from the age of 7, I entered the Thomas family. Until I was 12 years old, my brother completely took control of the company and brought me back home. But over the years, I would occasionally go stay with the Thomas family for a while. I suddenly felt a bit fortunate that my brother loved me unconditionally. Early the next morning, I received a message from Frank. He sent several pictures along with a message. Since you want to cut ties with me, don't leave your trash in the Thomas family. Staring at the object in the picture, my heart ached intensely at that moment. At the age of 7, I didn't understand what death was, so every night in the Thomas family, I cried for my mom and dad. Every night, Frank would sneak into my room and slip rainbow candies into my palm. Though also a child's age, he took care of me just like an older brother. He would always gently pat my chest when I was half asleep, saying, Julia, don't cry, Big Brother is here with you. Big Brother will always be with you. In the quiet of the deep night, his voice seemed to have a magical allure, making my heart gradually develop feelings for him. Lost in memories, my frozen hand finally regained sensation, and I replied expressionlessly, then just throw them all away. After sending the message, I immediately unpinned it and turned on Do Not Disturb. After freshening up, by the time I went downstairs, my brother had already placed the birthday gift on the table and left for the office. The housekeeper served breakfast. I browsed social media while eating. A particularly eye-catching post suddenly caught my attention. It was about someone setting off fireworks halfway up the mountain last night, with 4 or 5 beautifully taken couple photos. Frank's silhouette was instantly recognizable. There was another woman entering the country, I thought. This must be the female lead mentioned in the comments. Even without showing her face, her demeanor alone revealed her exceptional qualities. I instinctively wanted to pretend I hadn't seen it, but my fingers slipped and I accidentally liked it. I was about to undo it. The next second, the phone suddenly rang. Startled, I jerked and accidentally dropped my phone into the soy milk. The ringing continued. I was still a bit dazed when I saw the caller ID clearly. The buried anger inside me completely erupted. I answered the call and immediately roared, Frank, are you fucking out of your mind? Are you insane? Keep calling me just to get beaten up, huh? I really couldn't hold back my temper, thinking about how he used to be willing to pluck the stars from the sky for me, yet now he looks at me with nothing but disgust. At this moment, I felt both angry and wronged. The other party seemed not to have reacted, and indeed hadn't reacted at all. Frank had originally called to warn Julia not to like his social media post, as it might be misunderstood by Mia. The key point is, she was the one who opened her mouth and said she wanted to sever ties. 1 second she's cutting off relations, the next she's liking a social media post. What's that supposed to mean? Isn't this just playing hard to get? The other party remained silent, and I frowned, recalling those cliché, melodramatic novels I'd read before. as if suddenly realizing something. I couldn't help but sneer. Frank, you don't actually think my like was some kind of play hard to get tactic, do you? If that's enough to make you misunderstand, then you're even more narcissistic than I am. He didn't quite get it and asked in confusion, what do you mean by that? I flipped through those cringe-worthy old posts on my social media with a blank face, laughing at myself in bitter amusement. If you'd mistake a careless like from me as playing hard to get, then what about all those confessions I posted, visible only to you, that you liked every single one of them? Should I suspect that was your way of playing hard to get too? Every single one of them was a confession, posted in the dead of night with hidden meanings, visible only to him. If it weren't for his actions, I would never have misunderstood that he liked me. As if choked by my words, he fell completely silent. I hung up the phone without hesitation, rubbed my aching heart, and laughed at myself mockingly. By evening, snow suddenly began to fall in Y City. When alone, my mind always drifts back to memories of the past with Frank, so I decided to invite my best friend Alice to go out together. I just didn't expect Y City to be so small. I went out to see the snow and ran into Frank. He seemed equally surprised, instinctively hiding the woman beside him behind his back. A flash of sadness crossed my eyes before I looked away. Alice also knew about my 7-year crush on Frank, so when Frank protected another woman, I was furious beyond words and immediately sneered, Master Frank, why bring out such a precious thing? Wouldn't it be better to keep her hidden away in a golden cage? Miss No Name, being Master Thomas's little canary seems like quite the enviable profession, doesn't it? After speaking, Frank was furious. Alice, don't think just because you're from the Scott family, I won't dare to deal with you. Apologize to Mia, or don't blame me for being impolite. Hearing this, Alice became even more infuriated and was about to step forward to speak again when I pulled her back. I stared expressionlessly at Frank and suddenly spoke. Frank, Alice does have a point. If you don't introduce who this lady is and keep her hidden like a treasure, even if we don't misunderstand, others will. Since he posted that photo on social media yesterday, people have already started speculating about who this person is. Is she the golden canary raised by young Master Frank? It's not uncommon in high society circles to keep golden canaries, so it's hardly surprising. But not long ago, there were faint rumors about a potential marriage alliance between the Smith and Thomas families. The sudden cancellation inevitably raises suspicions about whether this golden canary is the reason. The woman took the initiative to step forward, smiling gently as she said, Miss Julia, Miss Alice, hello, my name is Mia. Why must women truly make things difficult for each other? Alice had only initially wanted to stand up for me, but seeing her take the initiative, her temper softened a little. My surname is Scott, and my given name is Alice. I'm Julia's best friend. I was just about to introduce myself, when the barrage comments popped up again. Woo, the female lead is so beautiful. So soft, I just want to kiss her. As expected, the best friend of a villainess is also a villainess. The sweet female lead hasn't done anything to offend them, yet they immediately slander her reputation. How shameless. The female lead is so patient. If I were insulted like that, I'd have cursed them out right away. They're just relying on their privileged backgrounds, aren't they? Without their family status, the two of them combined wouldn't be worth a single finger of the female lead. I frowned at the barrage of comments. This action caused the surrounding crowd to start mocking Mia. Frank pulled Mia back upon seeing this and coldly reprimanded, They're not worthy of your self-introduction. Heaven knows, I was genuinely angered by the barrage of comments just now. With Alice's words, Frank didn't intend to hide Mia anymore and immediately invited his good buddies to drunken colors. I didn't want to go, but Alice dragged me along. What are you afraid of? The awkward ones are them. It's Frank who pretended to like you too. It's not your fault for misunderstanding. To ease my guilt, she nodded even more emphatically. Frank once declared that I was his little princess, and anyone who bullied me would be making an enemy of him. Such ambiguous and misleading words would be misunderstood by anyone, not to mention when they suddenly come from a childhood friend who grew up with you. I was forcibly dragged into the private room. As soon as we entered the room, Frank's expression turned cold. Alice snorted arrogantly and pulled me over to sit down directly. The atmosphere grew increasingly awkward. The people in the private room exchanged glances. I leaned close to Alice's ear and whispered, I should just leave. Being here makes me uncomfortable too. Besides, the way to let go of someone is to escape from them. The closer you get, the harder it is to move on. And there's even a risk that simple proximity could twist your feelings into something distorted. Alice reluctantly gave in to persuasion. I took Alice's hand, planning to sneak away quietly. Mia suddenly spoke up. Miss Alice and Miss Julia, are you heading to the restroom? Would you mind if I tag along? Everyone fell silent. Alice and I stopped in our tracks, feeling the weight of everyone's gaze, especially Frank's gloomy stare. I uncomfortably turned my head away. Alice spoke first. Great. I actually have some things I'd like to discuss with Miss Yun. Some people's tempers, once flared up, can't be reined in even by 9 oxen. Clearly intending to leave, they stubbornly dashed to the restroom instead. The class wasn't over yet, but Mia was already waiting at the door. Seeing this, Alice got straight to the point. Miss, may I ask if your feelings for Frank are genuine? Is it really appropriate for you to interfere with their childhood friendship, without you? Frank's affection would only be directed at Julia. She froze, seemingly not expecting Alice to be so direct. I grabbed Alice's hand and quickly explained, Alice has always been like this, straightforward since childhood. Please don't take it to heart. Frank and I have nothing between us anymore. Don't mind it. You and he can. I don't like him. She suddenly interrupted. Both Alice and I were stunned. I even looked at her somewhat uncomprehendingly. If you don't like him, why are you living in the apartment he arranged? And those ambiguous photos together? She hesitated for a few seconds but still chose to speak up. A year ago, when young Master Frank fell into the water, hit his head on a rock, and fell into a coma, I happened to pass by and saved him. Ever since then, he's been pestering me almost every day, saying he's fallen for me. But I know what he feels for me isn't love at all. How could anyone fall in love just because someone saved their life? Besides, a young master from a wealthy family like him wouldn't care about such things. Her voice began to choke up as she spoke. At first, he only pestered me after work, but later it got worse. He started bothering me during work hours, got into arguments with my clients, and cost me my job. When I tried to leave secretly, he went crazy and locked me in the apartment, forbidding me from leaving or finding a new job. Miss Alice, I'm not some canary kept by Master Frank. I'm Mia. I froze in shock. Suddenly, a barrage of comments flashed across the screen. Sweet female lead. You do love the male lead. You just haven't fallen for him yet. Later, you'll love him to the point of life and death. The male lead imprisoned you because he loves you. Your job doesn't pay well, and those customers are always getting handsy. The male lead just loves you. Is that so wrong, sweet female lead? It's because you're the heroine in an angsty novel. At first, you don't like the male lead, so you'll suffer emotionally and physically, but the male lead is just a little yander right now. You'll heal him later, so bravely accept the male lead's love. He just loves you too much. Are these comments crazy? I instantly lost my temper and directly grabbed her hand. Do you want to leave or not? She froze, seemingly not expecting me to help her, but quickly nodded in realization. She wanted to leave. She didn't want to be locked up there. She refused to become the caged songbird everyone spoke of. I immediately voiced my thoughts. Can you get your ID and those documents? She nodded with some difficulty but still managed. I continued. Frank is extremely stubborn. Once he sets his mind on something, it's hard for him to let go. These next few days, try your best to get your ID. You'll have to leave Y City for a while. I have a relative in B City. I can send you there. I'll call you back when the time is right. She instantly grabbed my hands in excitement. Miss Julia, you're truly a kind person. Thank you, really thank you. I blushed a little. No one has ever thanked me like this since I was a child. Frank truly loves Mia and was worried we might bully her, so he came over immediately. Before he took her away, Mia secretly made an okay gesture too. I showed an unprecedented smile. Alice asked in confusion, Julia, why are you helping your love rival? She stole your childhood sweetheart whom you've had a crush on for 7 years. Normal people wouldn't trip her up, let alone, how could you still choose to help her without hesitation? This move is truly baffling. I remained silent for a long while before finally revealing the unbelievable barrage of comments. The barrage of comments also exploded with shock, flooding the screen with. Seeing Alice gradually believe, I continued with a light laugh. So whether Mia will like Frank in the future or not, the fact is she doesn't like him now. She doesn't want to be a bird trapped in a cage, so we should let her go. Perhaps, by leaving Frank now, she'll find even more freedom in the future. Moreover, the Thomas family is a wealthy and influential one. Her status would certainly not meet the approval of Aunt Thomas. And the identity of being the wife of the Thomas family would become a shackle, trapping her forever. I continued, Alice, as women, we should support other women, not just consider things from the male lead's perspective. We should think from Mia's point of view. These words also seem to remind the barrage, though we don't know whether those controlling the barrage are male or female. We should all stand on the side of the victim, not the perpetrator. Frank imprisoned Mia, he is now the perpetrator. The next day, I arranged to meet Aunt Thomas. As soon as I arrived, Aunt Thomas thought I had changed my mind and immediately handed over the safety lock. I placed the safety lock on the table and repeated very seriously, Aunt Thomas, I can't say for sure that I have no feelings left for Frank at all, but I know very clearly that we're not suited for each other, and there won't be any good outcome in the future. As I finished speaking, a smile appeared on my face. She paused, as if seeing the determination in my eyes, and sighed as she took the protective amulet back. Then she asked again, did you ask me out today just for coffee? I shook my head. I came because of Mia. Hearing Mia, her smile instantly faded, and her expression turned displeased. Why bring her up? If it weren't for her, our family alliance through marriage wouldn't have fallen through. He seemed to genuinely dislike Mia. With nothing but disdain in his eyes, just an ordinary woman, not to mention the Thomas family. Even those with slightly better off families wouldn't want her. The wives of wealthy families are typically well versed in music, chess, calligraphy, and painting, and fluent in 8 languages. That Mia, at first glance, probably only knows her hometown dialect and Mandarin. Aunt Thomas, as far as I know, it was your son who imprisoned Miss Yun. Miss Yun hasn't done anything wrong in this matter. She is a victim. If it were your daughter locked in a cage, would you be willing? The apartment appeared luxurious, but in reality, it was just a gilded cage, trapping the bird it desired inside, then watching it slowly march toward death. Perhaps these words struck a chord with Aunt Thomas. In the circle of wealthy arranged marriages, which one isn't a bird trapped in a cage? It was because I liked Frank that my brother thought of strengthening family ties through marriage. But what about the other families in arranged marriages? Their union wasn't born of love, but rather a strategic alliance for family interests. The setting sun cast its glow upon Aunt Thomas's aged face as she reached up to touch her no longer youthful features, as if reminiscing about her younger self. After a long silence, she turned to me and spoke, Julia, how do you want me to help you? As mentioned in the bullet comments, Frank is a Yandera, he clings to Mia every moment. Unwilling to leave her side for even a second, finally, on the day of Alice's boyfriend's birthday, he invited Frank out. He originally wanted to bring Mia along, seeing how down she had been lately, but Mia isn't fond of making friends. Upon hearing this, he considered canceling too, but she pushed him to go. All right, how can you not go to your good friend's birthday party? He specifically invited you. I can take care of myself, don't worry, but on your way back, could you bring me a strawberry cake? I really want some cake. His expression froze as he looked at the woman before him, suddenly reminded of Julia's coquettish manner. Back when that woman lived in his house, every time he went out at night, she would pester him for cake, always strawberry flavored. He shook his head. Lately, he kept mistaking Mia for Julia. The one he truly loved was Mia. He kept questioning himself, but his voice grew quieter each time, watching Frank walk out the door. She finally let out a sigh of relief and hurried to find the safe in the bedroom. The safe had a password, so she tried Frank's birthday first, but it didn't open. She tried her birthday again, still didn't open it. This safe only allows 3 attempts to unlock. If all 3 fail, it will automatically lock and also send a notification to Frank's phone. She quickly turned on the hidden phone, unlocked it, and immediately called me. I answered the phone and instinctively asked if the ID card had been obtained. She recounted everything that had just happened. Today was the best opportunity to leave, and her tone unconsciously carried a hint of urgency. Julia, there's only one chance left. I pondered for a long while, closing and reopening my eyes. There was an answer in my heart, but I hesitated slightly. As time was running out, I quickly spoke up. 020726. Without any suspicion, she hurriedly unlocked it. I was so nervous I didn't dare to breathe, because all of Frank's passwords were set to my birth date after I pestered him, and I couldn't be sure if the password was still the same. After a long silence, a beep sound rang out. I finally let out a sigh of relief and added, "The driver is waiting downstairs. We'll head to the airport now. I'll buy 3 tickets to create confusion, but only the one to End City is your actual destination, okay?" "Thank you." She quickly thanked him and hung up the phone. Everything here was prepared by Frank, and she didn't want any of it, so she immediately rushed out of the apartment without hesitation, but she never expected that the security guards in the complex were also Frank's people. The moment she got into the car, he already knew. The driver sped up professionally all the way. Frank rushed to the airport as soon as he received the message, and called me immediately. I hung up the phone. He calls once, I hang up once. Moments later, my phone receives his message. I tap to play the voice message, and his furious voice blasts out, "You've got some nerve. Who gave you permission to secretly send Mia away? Wait till I get back. We're settling this." After listening to the recording, I looked at the familiar car ahead, when a barrage of comments suddenly flashed by. What's going on? Why is it still coming to this? Logically. This time the female antagonist is angry at the male lead and plans to disappear abroad, while the male lead pretends to have amnesia from a car accident while chasing her to the airport. So why is he chasing the female lead now? Female antagonist. The male lead will pretend to have amnesia from a car accident at the airport this time. Watching the bullet comments, I instructed the driver, "Ram into it." The driver hesitated. "Miss, that's young Master Frank's car ahead." I repeated without changing my expression, "If anything goes wrong, I'll take responsibility. Hit them now." Immediately, the driver stopped hesitating and floored the accelerator. With a loud bang, the car crash happened. I took Frank to the hospital. The barrage kept asking me what I was doing. I chuckled lightly. Isn't he the male lead? He has protagonist halo and won't die. If he can fake a car accident, why can't I be the one who hits him? The barrage understood. As soon as I arrived at the hospital, I immediately called the top psychological hypnotist I had arranged in advance, Dr. Jack. "I'll trouble you to perform a deep hypnosis and make Frank believe he's the Buddha of the capital circle, someone who stays away from women." "Okay, Dr. Jack." How could Frank's identity not be recognized? He took a step back, somewhat hesitant. This technology might not last for more than a few years. What if he wakes up and comes after me? I chuckled lightly. Don't worry, I'll take responsibility if anything goes wrong. You've already taken the money, so stop with the useless excuses." I urged him quickly. "If we don't hypnotize him now, he'll wake up soon." He had no choice. He took the money and had to solve the problem. 1 month later, I waved at the dazed Frank. He snapped back to reality and looked at me calmly. "What's wrong? Do you know me?" I felt a bit nervous. Even though he had asked this question repeatedly since waking up, he frowned and nodded. "You're just the girl next door, right? I have work to do. Get out." I nodded in satisfaction, turned and left the office. The doctor said it's best not to see your loved one for at least 6 months, just to be safe. I originally planned to have Mia come back after a year, but unexpectedly, she found love there, and couldn't bear to return. She thanked me several times. Many years later, Mia had triplets and lived a blissful life. However, Alice still had one lingering question about the matter, so she asked, "Since it was all hypnosis anyway, why didn't you just make Frank believe he loved you? The technology is already available now." I froze. Actually, while considering hypnosis, this thought had crossed my mind, but I quickly snapped out of it. Looking at Alice's puzzled expression, I smiled gently and reached out to pat her head, because in this world, I'll always love myself first. After hearing the first story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Next, there is another similar story. Let's continue to see. I've always believed I was the female lead in my own story, the only daughter of a wealthy family, a graduate from a prestigious university, fair-skinned and beautiful, kind to everyone, with a childhood sweetheart as my boyfriend. What more could one ask for in life? Until I boarded the plane and saw a row of bullet comments appear before my eyes. "Goddess, wake up, your childhood sweetheart boyfriend has already cheated on you. Can the person above not speak so harshly? The second female lead has been abroad for a year, Isn't it normal for the male lead to have a new relationship? Before the second female lead went abroad, the male lead said they should take a year to cool off and decide whether to continue or break up after she returned. Amid the barrage of bullet screen comments, I finally pieced together the issue. I was just the second female lead in a soap opera. Good news, I gained fans after the show aired. Bad news, my script was to fawn over the male lead and get hurt, antagonize the female lead and get humiliated, have a sudden epiphany and accept being paired off, then get hit by a car and die. Wait, so I was the only one getting abused in the whole show. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Our plane is expected to arrive at Bayonne International Airport in approximately 30 minutes. The flight attendant's gentle voice brought me back to reality. I removed the steam eye mask and blinked to adjust my eyes to the light. It's been a year since I last returned home. I wonder if Simon has missed me. I picked up my phone, and the screen displayed the last message he sent. Sweetheart, I'll definitely get to the airport early to pick you up. The corners of my mouth curled up involuntarily. Just as I was about to reply, a few lines of translucent text suddenly flashed before my eyes. Goddess, wake up, your childhood sweetheart has already cheated on you. I blinked hard, and the words vanished. Hallucination, I rubbed my temples. Maybe I was just exhausted from the long flight. Can the person upstairs not be so harsh? The second female lead has been abroad for a year. Isn't it normal for the male lead to have a new relationship? Here it comes again, this time. The text lingered longer, like some kind of bullet comment. I glanced around. The other passengers all looked perfectly normal. Clearly, only I could see these. Before the female lead went abroad, the male lead said they should cool off for a year and decide whether to continue or break up after she returned. My fingers froze. The bullet comment indeed mentioned the agreement between Simon and me last year. At the time, he said he needed space, and I suggested we'd talk again after I returned from studying abroad in a year. This was an unspoken secret between us. No third party could possibly know about it. My heart suddenly started pounding violently as I stared fixedly at the empty air before me. More bullet comments scrolling past. Poor second female lead. She's about to get tormented as soon as she returns home. Simon is celebrating Bella's birthday right now. He's completely forgotten about picking her up at the airport. Second female lead. Run, you're going to get hit by a car and die in the end. This is utterly absurd. Simon and I grew up together, and both families have long tacitly approved of our marriage. How could he possibly? And I would be killed by a car. I gripped the handrail tightly, trying to rationally analyze these bizarre barrage comments. Maybe my AR glasses were hacked. But I wasn't wearing any smart devices at all. Please fasten your seatbelts. We're about to land. I took a deep breath and decided to verify the barrage message first. If Simon really doesn't come to pick me up, no, he will definitely come, he promised. 30 minutes later, I stood in the arrival hall with my suitcase, looking around. No sign of Simon. I took out my phone and dialed his number. The number you have dialed is currently unavailable, after multiple attempts. My palms were already damp with cold sweat. The barrage says he's celebrating Bella's birthday. Who is Bella? Just then, a new barrage floats by. Simon truly lives up to his CEO title, booking the entire YH hotel. Such extravagance. This must be true love. He wasn't this generous with the second female lead. YH hotel. Thank you. The scenery outside the car window rapidly receded as I kept refreshing my phone. But Simon still hadn't replied. Bullet comments appeared occasionally, most of them discussing the plot. It was only then that I realized I was merely the supporting female character. Simon was the male lead, and that Bella was the female lead. In the original story, the female lead should have gone straight home at this point. Then they argued for several days. She doesn't know the male lead has already changed his mind, does she? What difference would it make if she knew? She'll just end up being paired off and dying anyway. This is too surreal. But what if these bullet comments are real? The taxi stopped in front of the hotel when my phone vibrated. It was Simon. Wendy, there's an important meeting last minute. I've sent the driver to pick you up. See you tomorrow. An important meeting. Looks like the barrage comments were right. I paid the fare and headed straight for the elevator. My heart pounded like a drum, yet a strange calm enveloped me. If this was my script, then I would deliberately go against it. A private event sign hung at the entrance of the rooftop restaurant. I took a deep breath and pushed the door open. Under the soft lighting, Simon stood with his back to the entrance, leaning down to whisper something into a girl in white's ear. The girl laughed so hard she trembled, her fingers resting intimately on his arm. Standing there, I suddenly understood what it meant to be struck by lightning. 20 years of friendship, 3 years of love, 1 year of waiting. And this is the betrayal I get in return. Damn, the female lead's rival is here. The plot's falling apart. Ah, is there gonna be a catfight? The barrage of comments suddenly surged, almost obscuring my vision. I raised my hand and waved, and the text seemed to scatter to both sides as if it had a mind of its own. Simon, my voice was calmer than I expected. He turned around abruptly, his face instantly turning pale. Wendy, how did you? Isn't there supposed to be an important meeting? I walked closer slowly, my gaze settling on the girl. She was beautiful, the kind of pure, innocent beauty, currently clutching Simon's sleeve in panic. And who might this be? Happy birthday, I smiled, my voice dripping with sweetness. I'm Wendy James, Simon's fiancé. The restaurant fell into complete silence. Bella's eyes widened in shock as she looked at Simon for help. Wendy, let me explain. Simon took a step forward. I gazed at Simon's flustered expression and suddenly laughed. What's there to explain? I tilted my head, my tone lighthearted. It's just celebrating a colleague's birthday. I understand. Simon was visibly stunned, his prepared excuses stuck in his throat. Bella's face instantly turned pale, her fingers tightly clutching the hem of her skirt. The barrage exploded with comments. Damn, the female lead's reaction is off. She should have caused a scene to fit the vibe. It's over. The plot's completely messed up now. I stepped forward and linked arms with Simon, leaning affectionately against his shoulder. Wilson and the others have prepared a welcome dinner for me. Let's go. Simon stiffened for a moment but quickly composed himself. Right, we should go check it out. He turned to Bella and hastily said, Happy birthday, before letting me pull him away. Bella stood frozen in place, her lips trembling, unable to utter a single word. She didn't dare to speak openly. After all, in everyone's eyes, she was just an ordinary colleague, while I was his fiancé. As we left the hotel, Simon visibly relaxed. Wendy, thank you for understanding. He tried to take my hand. I just thought that as a superior, I should show some care to my subordinates. I understand. I gently interrupted him. You've always been so considerate. The barrage is scrolling wildly. Goddess, wake up. He's lying to you. This plot twist is unexpected. Why isn't the female lead following the usual script? How can the male lead get away with this? After getting in the car, Simon's phone lit up. I caught a glimpse of a message popping up on the lock screen. Bella, you're just going to leave me like this. Simon quickly turned off the screen, but I had already seen it. Pretending not to notice, I turned to look out the window, a faint sneer curling at the corner of my lips. Since the barrage comments say I'll be abused and run over by a car, then why don't I abuse them first? The welcome banquet was held at the most exclusive private restaurant in town. When I pushed open the private room door, the laughter inside abruptly stopped. Wilson's hand holding the champagne froze midair, while the expressions of the other childhood friends instantly stiffened. I clearly saw someone quickly flip their phone face down on the table. Surprise! I linked arms with Simon, beaming brightly. I brought the person you most wanted to see. An eerie silence filled the private room. Holy shit, what a massive showdown. Is the female lead about to tear off all pretenses? These people clearly all know the male lead is cheating. The barrage of comments scrolling past confirmed my suspicions. Wendy, Wilson was the first to react, forcing a stiff smile. We thought you were tired today. How could I be tired? I pulled Simon to sit down. Haven't seen everyone for a year. Missed you all so much. I deliberately sat next to Wilson, beads of sweat forming on his forehead. By the way, I picked up some food and put it in Simon's bowl. Bella is quite adorable. How long have you known each other? The sound of chopsticks falling to the ground was unusually crisp. Wilson suddenly choked and started coughing violently. The others kept their heads down, focusing on their meals. Not daring to respond, Simon's face turned ashen. The new intern at the company, just 3 months. Oh, I drawled, 3 months is enough to cover YH's birthday celebration. Mr. Robinson is truly generous to his employees. The private room was deathly silent. The goddess is going berserk. Full marks for this round of sarcasm. The male lead must be sweating bullets. Wendy, Simon finally couldn't hold back. Let's talk outside. The corridor lights were harshly white as he grabbed my wrist. What exactly do you want? Weren't you just being so understanding earlier? Why the sudden change when you saw them? Trying to embarrass me on purpose? Want to hear the truth? I shook off his hand. When did Wilson and the others start covering for you? Or, have you slept together? Simon's pupils constricted sharply, unable to utter a word. That reaction said it all. My heart felt like it was being slowly carved open with a blunt knife, but I didn't want him to look down on me. Guess what I want to do most right now? I want to meet her, officially. The next day at noon, I walked into the Robinson family group building in high heels. The receptionist visibly panicked when she saw me. Miss James, Mr. Robinson is in a meeting. It's fine, I'll wait for him. I headed straight for the elevator, hearing frantic phone calls behind me. The executive floor was eerily quiet. Simon's assistant blocked the office door. Miss James, Mr. Robinson is truly. The door suddenly opened from inside. Bella stumbled back half a step when she saw me, clutching a stack of files. I deliberately wore the latest seasonal suit today, carrying a bag worth 6 months of her salary, compared to her crumpled shirt dress. The difference was stark. I heard you graduated from University A. What a coincidence. I'm your senior. I smiled innocently. By the way, have you been made a full-time employee yet? Bella's face turned pale. Simon finally arrived upon hearing the news. Wendy, darling, I've ordered lunch. Shall we go together? Glancing at Bella, would you like to join us? Miss Bella, adding insult to injury, the supporting female lead's level suddenly skyrocketed. The male lead's face turned green. In the private Japanese dining room, I placed a slice of Wagyu beef into Simon's bowl. Eat more, you've been quite tired lately, haven't you? Simon's chopsticks were clenched tightly. Bella took small bites of her salad, then suddenly looked up. Senior James, Mr. Robinson and I are truly what? I rested my chin on my hand and watched her. She grew nervous under my gaze, her voice shrinking. In love? Pfft, I couldn't help but laugh. Do you know he snores when he sleeps, or that he bites his nails when he's nervous? With every word, Bella's expression darkened further. You've loved each other for 3 months. How does that compare to our 24 years? Simon suddenly stood up. Wendy James, just kidding. I wiped the corner of my mouth. By the way, the wedding house is all decorated. The two families are having dinner next week. Would you be interested? Miss Bella. Bella's tears fell in large drops into her bowl. Damn, the female lead has turned dark. The second female lead is so disgusting. Is this really necessary? My poor baby is suffering. The male lead deserves it. As I walked out of the restaurant, Simon grabbed me. Enough. What on earth? I shook off his hand, my expression turning cold for the first time. Simon, do you really think I would just swallow my pride? I took a step back, creating distance between us. His expression shifted from anger to panic. Wendy, in these 20-odd years, I only strayed for 3 months. Are you really going to sentence me to death? Finally breaking up. Female lead, run away. The male lead's face turned green. LOL, how can the male lead take it for granted? Can 20-some years not compare to 3 months? Let's break up. Simon grabbed me abruptly. No, the collaboration project between our families has just started. The engagement can't be called off. I turned back in disbelief. So when you cheated, you only thought about the benefits and not our relationship at all. That was just playing along. He lowered his voice. Wendy. Marriages in families like ours are always like this, aren't they? Trembling with anger, I slapped him hard across the face. A sharp crack echoed as a clear handprint emerged on his cheek. This slap is for your insult to the word marriage. After returning home, I went straight to my father's study. Dad, I want to cancel the engagement. Father looked up from his documents and frowned. What tantrum are you throwing now? Simon cheated with an intern from his company. My father's reaction chilled me to the bone. Is that all? Men, when they're young, can't help but, Dad, I cut him off. Your daughter was betrayed, and this is your response. Mother heard the noise and came in, but after listening, she also sighed. Wendy, the Robinson family has too deep a partnership with us. This matter, just bear with it. I felt as if I had fallen into an icy abyss. Ugh, these people's morals have gone to the dogs. Business marriages are truly terrifying. The female lead is truly pitiful. What's so pitiful about her? She's enjoyed so many benefits. Can't she make some sacrifices? So for the sake of business, you'd rather let your daughter suffer? The father waved his hand impatiently. It's not like you have to endure it forever. Once you're married and have children, he'll naturally settle down. I turned and walked away, the slamming door shaking the hallway vase. The next day, Simon showed up at my apartment door with both sets of parents in tow. Mrs. Robinson grabbed my hand. Wendy, Simon knows he was wrong. Men, you know how they are. Auntie, I withdrew my hand. Your son called it just playing along. Do you really think that's acceptable? Mr. Robinson's face darkened. Wendy James, the collaboration between our families is no joke. I looked at my parents, but they avoided my gaze. This is suffocating, folks. Marrying into that family would be nothing but trouble. Are these people out of their minds? Run. Second female lead. Why does the second female lead have so much screen time? I just want to see sweet romance. Simon suddenly knelt down. Wendy, I swear I won't do it again. The engagement can't be cancelled. Watching him act, I suddenly found it ridiculous. I've said all I need to say. Your collaboration has nothing to do with the engagement. At the charity gala a week later, Simon openly entered arm in arm with Bella. She was wearing the latest season's collection from a brand I often bought, with the Robinson family heirloom pearl necklace around her neck. The very piece that should have been my engagement gift. Holy shit, is the male lead crazy? How can the second female lead tolerate this? He even gave her the pearl necklace. This is such a brutal slap in the face. True love conquers all. Baby, you're such a good baby. So satisfying. Love how he protects his wife and slaps the face of that female antagonist. Shunbai is absolutely adorable. I took a sip of champagne as Wilson leaned in. Wendy, don't take it to heart. Why would I? I smiled and raised my phone, showing an intimate photo of me with a chable air. Let me introduce you to my new boyfriend. Simon whipped his head around, face turning ashen. Wendy James, Bella tugged at his sleeve. Simon, forget it, Mr. Robinson parades around with his little girlfriend. What's wrong with me having a boyfriend? Simon grabbed my wrist. We haven't called off the engagement yet. You dare bring that up? Let go, I said coldly. He didn't let go, instead gripping even tighter. Are you deliberately trying to provoke me, that pretty boy, with my free hand? I slapped him hard across the face. The entire room fell silent instantly. First, you're the one who said this was normal. I shook him off. Second, you brought your mistress right in front of me. Did you really think I was dead? Third, now you're talking about our engagement. Where does that leave Miss Bella? Fight. The second female lead's combat power is off the charts. Simon hurriedly turned to look at Bella, his gaze toward me turning sinister. Wendy James, you'll regret this. Regret. I smoothed my skirt. The only thing I regret is not seeing through you sooner. The dating photos of Simon and Bella made it to the trending list the very next day. Hashtag Robinson family heirs new flame hashtag Robinson James engagement change hashtag. As I scrolled through my phone, Lucas walked over with a cup of coffee and handed it to me, asking, "Need any help?" I looked up at him, sunlight streaming in through the floor-to-ceiling windows, accentuating the striking clarity of his features. "No need," I smiled. "This is just the beginning." Lucas was someone I met abroad, the only son of a certain Chable family, aloof by nature, yet exceptionally indulgent toward me alone. I had rejected him back then, citing my existing engagement, never expecting Simon to prove so utterly disappointing. He lowered his gaze to look at me. "Are you sure you want to do this?" I nodded. "They don't deserve my sorrow, but they do deserve my revenge." Lucas curled the corner of his lips. "All right, I'll accompany you." Photos of Simon attending a business cocktail party with Bella flooded the media, with outlets sensationalizing their true love. Meanwhile, my social media was filled with nothing but mockery and ridicule. Miss James got dumped so hard. Perfect match still can't compare to true love. Rumor has it the James family is going bankrupt. Young Master Robinson is cutting losses in time. I sneered while screenshotting and sent it to Lucas. "Look how smug they are," Lucas replied quickly. "There's a banquet tonight. Want to go?" I raised an eyebrow. "What kind of banquet?" "The Robinsons want to discuss a project, and my family is hosting." I immediately smiled. of course I'll go. That evening, I made a high-profile appearance, arm in arm with Lucas, dressed in a red gown with dazzling diamond earrings. I stood beside Lucas, instantly capturing the attention of the entire room. Simon was holding a champagne glass while chatting with someone. But his expression changed abruptly when he saw me. Bella, standing next to him in a white evening dress, instinctively tightened her grip on his arm upon seeing me. The corners of my lips curled up as I deliberately leaned closer to Lucas, whispering something in his ear. He lowered his gaze with a soft chuckle, reaching out to tuck a stray strand of hair behind my ear, intimate, yet perfectly measured. Simon's expression darkened instantly. Holy shit, Wendy James and Lucas. Isn't the Stewart family even more impressive than the Robinson family? The slap in the face came as fast as a tornado. How did the script collapse like this? Where's my sweet romance drama? Why has it turned into a revenge story for the second female lead? The organizer's representative warmly greeted them. Lucas, Miss Jiang, welcome, welcome. Lucas nodded faintly, and I clinked glasses with him with a smile. Long time no see. Simon finally couldn't hold back and strode over. Wendy. What do you mean by this? I feigned surprise. Mr. Robinson, what a coincidence, you're here too. He gritted his teeth. You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? I blinked innocently. Intentional about what? Is there a problem with me attending the banquet with my boyfriend? The words, my boyfriend, were emphasized heavily, and Simon's face turned ashen. Bella followed, speaking timidly. Senior Jiang, please don't be like this. Simon I chuckled lightly. Miss Bella. What does my date with my boyfriend have to do with you? Lucas timely wrapped his arm around my waist, his tone indifferent. Mr. Robinson, is there something you need? Simon stared at Lucas's hand, his gaze almost murderous. After the banquet, Simon blocked the parking lot. Wendy James, we need to talk. I was about to get in the car when I turned back at his words. Talk about what? He grabbed my wrist abruptly. Do you really have to retaliate against me like this? I shook off his hand and sneered. Retaliate, Simon, do you think too highly of yourself? Breathing heavily, he said, after more than 20 years of feelings between us, 20 years of feelings, I interrupted him. When you were cheating, why didn't you think about those 20 years? He was left speechless. I turned and got into the car. Lucas was already in the driver's seat, giving Simon a cold glance before stepping on the accelerator, in the rearview mirror. Simon stood still, his figure growing smaller and smaller. The next day, Simon's mother called personally. Wendy, are you and Lucas serious about this? I chuckled lightly. Auntie, what do you think? She said awkwardly. Simon knows he was wrong. After all these years of your relationship, Auntie, I cut her off. When your son was parading around with Bella, why didn't you think about all these years of feelings? After a moment of silence on the other end of the line, he finally sighed. Wendy, the joint project between our companies, the project proceeds as usual, I said calmly. The engagement is off. That's non-negotiable. After hanging up the phone, I let out a long sigh of relief. Lucas leaned against the door and looked at me. Solved it, I nodded. Pretty much. He walked over and ruffled my hair. Then it's my turn next. I was puzzled. What? He chuckled. Make it public. That afternoon, Lucas updated his social media account with a new post. Mine, at Wendy James. The accompanying photo was our group picture from the banquet. Holy shit, official announcement. Lucas actually posted something like this. Is Simon regretting it to death now? LMAO, Simon called immediately. But I hung up and blocked him right away. That evening, Lucas took me to the Stewart family's ancestral home. The Stewarts were very warm to me. At the dinner table, Lucas suddenly spoke up. Dad, let's halt the collaboration with the Robinson family. Mr. Stewart raised an eyebrow. What's the matter? Lucas replied calmly. They bullied my girlfriend. Mrs. Stewart immediately nodded. Stop, it must stop. I almost burst out laughing. A week later, the Robinson family's stock price plummeted. Simon's father came to apologize in person, with Simon following behind him, looking grim. Wendy, Simon was being immature before. We elders won't interfere in you young people's affairs. I sat on the sofa while Lucas stood behind me, his fingers lightly resting on my shoulder. Uncle, I smiled. Simon and I are over, but the collaboration between our families won't be affected. You can rest assured. He sighed in relief. But Simon suddenly looked up. Wendy, are you really going to do this? I looked at him. So, he gritted his teeth. How long have you known Lucas? He doesn't like you at all. He just, Simon, Lucas spoke coldly. Watch your words, Simon sneered. Lucas has had his fun, can't you just let it go? Lucas's eyes darkened. I pressed his hand down and chuckled. Simon, do you think the whole world should revolve around you? You cheat, and I'm supposed to swallow my anger. You come back, and I should be grateful. I stood up, looking down at him. Don't overestimate yourself. After Simon and his father left, my parents called soon after. Wendy, you're being so unreasonable. Father's voice came through the receiver, laced with suppressed anger. Do you have any idea how much the joint project between our families has suffered because of your tantrum? Was I the one who started it? So what? Break up with that Lucas immediately and go apologize to the Robinson family. I let out a light laugh. Dad, have you forgotten what you said when Simon cheated? Men will be men when they're young. Mother took the phone, her tone softening. Wendy, I know you're angry now, but you and Simon have so many years of feelings. Now you remember to talk about feelings. When Simon cheated, weren't you only concerned about the business between the two families? I sometimes really wonder. My voice was soft yet sharp as a knife. Am I your daughter? Or is Simon your son? You raised me to be so outstanding, just so I could be the perfect daughter-in-law. Is that it? Damn, the female lead's line is so spot on. No wonder something felt off everywhere. That hit a nerve with a lot of people. The female lead is so clear-headed. Amazing. This world loves men. That's just how it is. Father's voice suddenly rose sharply. Wendy James, how dare you speak to your parents like that? Then how would you like me to speak? I retorted. Continue being the obedient and sensible eldest daughter of the James family, swallowing my pride while watching my fiancé flirt with someone else. Do you know what's most ridiculous? I chuckled. Back then, you used benefits to persuade me to endure, and now you're using emotions to force me to turn back. What do you even care about? There was a long silence on the other end of the phone. Finally, my mother sighed. Wendy, we just don't want you to regret it. The only thing I regret, I said, looking at my reflection in the glass, is not seeing all of this sooner. I hung up the phone and tossed it onto the sofa. Lucas was standing at the door, holding 2 glasses of red wine. Care for a drink? He asked. I took the glass and drained it in one gulp. You know, I swirled the empty glass. Sometimes I feel like my life is a meticulously scripted play. Everyone knows the script except me, but fortunately, the reins of my life are still in my hands. As for the rest, let them say what they will. The female lead sees through it all. What's even scarier is that her creator never loved her to begin with. God, now that you mention it, the more I think about it, the creepier it gets. Simon's pestering came faster than I had anticipated. That day, just as I stepped out of the company building, I saw him leaning against the familiar black Maybach, holding a large bouquet of vibrant red roses. The sunlight glinted off his meticulously styled hair, and even his cufflinks shone with understated elegance. He always knew how to present his most perfect side. Wendy, he quickly stepped forward to stop me, his voice low and gentle, his gaze so tender it was as if he had never betrayed me. Let's talk. I caught a whiff of his familiar cologne, and in a daze, I recalled how many nights I had once been intoxicated by this very scent, but now, the smell only makes me nauseous. Move aside. I turned to step around him. I'm busy. He grabbed my wrist abruptly. Just 5 minutes. I looked down at his slender fingers. Those same hands that used to gently brush away the stray hairs from my forehead now only filled me with disgust. I forcefully shook him off. Simon, do you know what you look like right now? He froze, clearly not expecting me to ask that. Like a dog abandoned by its owner, his face instantly turned deathly pale, petals scattering across the ground. You think I'd be moved? Save it. I have no interest in trash. Holy shit, the female lead is going berserk. Simon's face turned green with rage. LOL. Serves him right. So satisfying. From behind came his gnashing voice. You'll regret this. I waved without turning back. Regret not dumping you sooner. Absolutely. Getting into the car, I realized my hands were trembling slightly, not from sadness, but from anger. How dare he think a bouquet could erase betrayal? How dare he believe I'd give him another chance? The male lead finally gets a taste of his own medicine. LOL. Regrets now. Huh? Where's Bella? Did she really get dumped? The male lead chasing the second female lead. What kind of nonsense is this? This is so trashy. Bella did indeed get dumped. Her eyes were red and swollen. Her makeup smeared when she found me, senior. Her voice choked with sobs. Could you give Simon back to me? I raised an eyebrow. Give him back. She bit her lip and nodded. I know I shouldn't have interfered in your relationship, but I truly love him. I laughed. Bella, are you mistaken about something? Simon was never mine, let alone yours. He belongs to himself. It's just that he chose to betray and then chose to abandon you, instead of coming to me now. Why not ask him why he gave up on you so easily? Her face turned deathly pale, tears falling in large drops. I handed her a tissue. Don't cry. It's not worth it for a man who doesn't deserve you. She numbly took it, then suddenly broke down sobbing. But I have nothing left. I watched her quietly, suddenly feeling she was both pitiful and pathetic. Did she think I would show off, kick her when she's down? But I just felt sorrow. Bella. I handed her a cup of hot coffee, softening my voice. Do you know why Simon left you? She looked up blankly, tears still streaming down her face. Because he never loved you. I looked straight into her eyes. What he loves is merely the feeling of being loved. But her lips trembled. He promised he would treat me well. A man's promises are just words to be heard, not believed. I chuckled lightly. You got into university, eh? Proving you're smarter than most. Why ruin yourself for a man who isn't worth it? She froze. Tears welling up in her eyes. Your family circumstances aren't good, right? I continued. So you should understand even more that your worth has never depended on a man. You got into university A on your own merits, secured an internship at the Robinson family through your own efforts. You could clearly live a much better life. Why choose to be someone's accessory? She lowered her head, her shoulders trembling slightly. I sighed and took a business card from my bag, handing it to her. This is my friend's company. They're recruiting management trainees. Good salary and plenty of room for growth. If you're willing, I can recommend you. She suddenly looked up at me in disbelief. You? Why would you help me? I smiled. Because I can't bear to see a woman fall silent over a man. Bella, you still have yourself. She clutched the business card, tears finally falling. But this time, something seemed to quietly shift in her eyes. The female lead actually helped Bella. I didn't see this coming. The author must not love Bella at all, right? The female lead is really, I'm so moved to tears. You still have yourself. Divine words. Simon's pestering became increasingly frequent, even reaching Lucas. Lucas. He stood before Lucas, his gaze dark and gloomy. What exactly do you want? Lucas glanced at him indifferently. What do you mean? You don't like Wendy at all. Simon gritted his teeth. You're just using her to get back at me. Lucas chuckled lightly. Mr. Robinson, aren't you overestimating yourself? Simon clenched his fists. Wendy and I have over 20 years of history. How long have you even known her? Feelings have nothing to do with time, Lucas said calmly. Some people spend a lifetime together without understanding love, while for others, one glance is enough. Simon was left speechless, his face turning livid. I walked over and took Lucas's arm. Let's go, ignore him. Simon stared at our intertwined hands and suddenly laughed. Wendy, do you really think he's sincere? He's just playing around. Lucas's eyes turned cold as he was about to speak, but I cut in first. Simon, do you really think the whole world is as scummy as you? He froze. I chuckled lightly. Don't measure others by your own standards. You're not worthy. Simon finally gave up his pursuit. He began appearing frequently in financial news, under his leadership. The Robinson family conglomerate saw its stock prices continuously decline, drawing complaints from shareholders. 6 months later, I encountered Bella again at an industry summit. She wore a crisp suit dress with her hair cut into a stylish collarbone-length bob, standing confidently on the podium as she spoke eloquently. The projector's light cast upon her, illuminating her poised and self-assured profile. The audience erupted in enthusiastic applause from time to time, while her eyes sparkled as if filled with starlight. Standing at the very back of the venue, I suddenly remembered the girl from half a year ago who had wept with pear blossom-like tears. Now, let's welcome the emerging investor, Ms. Bella, to share with us. Her voice was clear and powerful, her logic impeccable, with no trace of the timidity she once had. After the speech, Many gathered to exchange business cards with her. She handled the situation with ease. Exuding the confidence of a seasoned professional, I was about to leave when, at the corner of the hallway, I witnessed an unexpected scene. Simon, dressed in a suit, stopped Bella. Bella, he deliberately softened his voice. Can we talk? Bella didn't even pause her steps. Mr. Robinson, excuse me, I know I was wrong. Simon reached out to grab her. I've been thinking about you all this time, Mr. Robinson. Bella turned abruptly, her gaze sharp as a blade. Have you forgotten who it was that said, just for fun, who humiliated me in front of everyone in the office? Simon stiffened. I was just confused at the time. Confused? Bella sneered. So confused that you couldn't even bother to look at my resignation letter. Or was it only when your father discovered issues with the project that you remembered this whim of mine? Must have been a very busy time for you. I lean against the wall, unable to suppress a smirk. So the male lead cheated again. Damn. 666. The leads are tearing into each other now. OMG, the first time could be excused as true love, but now he's cheating even with his true love. Simon's expression grew increasingly grim. Bella, don't be ungrateful. Do you think you're something special just because you've got some skills now? If it weren't for me, if it weren't for you, what? Bella interrupted him, her voice soft yet each word cutting deep. If it weren't for you treating me like a plaything back then, I might never have realized just how exceptional I am. In fact, I should thank you, otherwise, how would I have met such an amazing person like my senior? She pulled a gold-embossed business card from her bag and slipped it into Simon's suit pocket. By the way, I'm now a partner at me.But Capital. If the Robinson family needs financing, you can contact my assistant to schedule an appointment. With that, she walked away without looking back, her high heels clicking, her back as straight as a bamboo stalk. Simon stood frozen in place, his face alternating between green and pale. Bravo, unable to resist, I stepped out of the shadows and began to clap. Simon suddenly looked up, and upon seeing me, his expression twisted even more. It's you again. I was just passing by. I shrugged, my gaze falling on the white rose in his hand. What a pity, your flower got rejected again. In a fit of anger, he threw the rose to the ground. You women are all the same. The two female leads teaming up to slap him in the face. So satisfying. Serves Simon right. Nobody loves him. Bella's character development is amazing. Such a female lead material. After that industry summit, Bella and I gradually started contacting each other more often. At first, it was just occasional coffee invitations, which later turned into regular weekly lunches. She's more interesting than I imagined, with sharp and unique insights when discussing financial markets, yet she can laugh like a carefree college student when chatting about everyday trivialities. One afternoon, she suddenly asked me while biting her straw, "Senior, why don't you hate me?" stirring the iced Americano in my cup. I countered, "Hate you for what? I once ruined your engagement." She lowered her head, her voice growing faint. I laughed. "Bella, it wasn't you who ruined the engagement. It was Simon. Besides," I deliberately drew out my tone, "if it weren't for you, I might still be struggling in that farce right now." She froze, then burst into laughter. "Senior, you're really, really magnanimous." I raised an eyebrow. "No." She shook her head, her eyes sparkling. "That was absolutely awesome." Double female lead friendship arc activated. Bella is so adorable after her character growth. Simon, should I leave then? I've completely cut off contact with Wilson and his crew. They used to be Simon's most loyal bro squad, and even after Simon and I broke up, they kept making snide remarks on social media, saying things like, "True love trumps social status," and "Some rich girls really need to check their attitude." Then one day, Wilson suddenly sent me a message. "Hey Wendy, heard you've been hanging out with Bella a lot. She's bad news. Watch your back." I immediately took a screenshot and sent it to Bella, adding, "He says you're not a good person." Bella replied instantly, "Then I should make it true." 5 minutes later, my phone started buzzing wildly. Bella had posted a photo of us together on her social media with the caption, "Happy date with my not a good person, senior." The location tag was Wilson's newly opened restaurant. Hahaha. Bella is so savage. Wilson must be green with envy. The female lead and second female lead teaming up to slap them in the face. So satisfying. Sure enough, Wilson couldn't sit still anymore and showed up at my apartment that very night to confront me. Wendy, he stopped me, his tone urgent. Don't be fooled by Bella. If she could come between you and Simon back then, she can. Can what? I glared at him coldly. Come between me and Lucas, he choked, his face flushing red. That's not what I meant, Wilson, I cut him off. Do you know what I hate the most? He looked at me blankly. I hate people like you, utterly rotten to the core, yet always eager to meddle in others' lives. At least Bella has the guts to own her actions, while you, I scoffed, just hide behind Simon like mindless yes-men. His face instantly turned deathly pale. I turned to leave when he suddenly shouted, but we've known each other for over 20 years, and you'd choose an outsider over. An outsider, I turned back, smiling. Bella is my friend now, and you stopped being that long ago. Even the supporting couple has Wilson really isn't worthy. Good thing they didn't end up together. After this incident, Wilson and his group completely quieted down. On the other hand, Bella mysteriously approached one day. Senior, I got something good. What? She pulled out her phone and played a recording. Simon, Wilson, did you go see Wendy? Who told you to meddle in this? Wilson, Simon. I'm just worried for you. She's getting so close with Bella these days. Simon, shut up. She's with Lucas now. If we piss off the Stewart family, my father will skin me alive. The recording abruptly cuts off. Bella blinked. So, pretty exciting, huh? I raised an eyebrow. Where did you get this? Wilson's assistant is my junior. She waved her phone smugly. Simon is in hot water now. The Robinson family's stock price has dropped so much that his dad scolds him daily. How would he dare offend Lucas anymore? I chuckled lightly. So, when he pestered me back then, it wasn't out of love at all, but fear that the Stewart family would cut off his escape route. Bella shrugged. Men, they always put profit first. Simon's true colors are completely exposed. LOL. Turns out he was just scared of Lucas. Bella's intel network is on point. My friendship with Bella has grown increasingly solid, even to the point where we've jointly invested in a startup. Lucas occasionally teases, do I need to take a number now to make an appointment with CEO James? Bella immediately raises her hand. Lucas, I can give up my spot, but it'll cost you extra. I laugh and throw a pillow at them. You too, that's enough. Simon, I heard he's gone through several girlfriends again, each one resembling Bella, innocent, fragile, and dependent on him. Unfortunately, none of them lasted long. When Bella found out, she said, is he addicted to the doppelganger trope? I shook my head. He just can't accept that someone he once controlled now outshines him. She suddenly looked at me. Senior, thank you. For what? For not letting me become the villainess back then. You're the female lead. If there's a villainess, it would be me, and my relationship with Lucas has become increasingly stable. One day, he suddenly asked me, Wendy, do you ever feel like all of this is a dream? I paused for a moment, then smiled. No, why? Because I looked out the window. No matter what, I'm still myself. The script can be rewritten, and so can life. He gently held my hand. Then, how do you want to write our script? I turned to look at him, a slight smile on my lips. Guess, he chuckled softly, leaning in to whisper in my ear. I guess, it's a happy ending. Ah, this is so sweet. Lucas is such a natural. Now this is what a real male lead should be. I closed my eyes with a smile, letting the sunlight bathe my face. Yes. This is my script, my happy ending. After hearing the two stories above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.